Hi everyone, welcome back. In the previous video, we are talking about reference variable. I repeat, what is a reference variable? Reference variable is nothing but a reference for an existing variable. So we have seen the program. So here is the program for you. We have taken a variable called x. X is equal to 10 as you could see here, and we are printing what is x value. And we have taken this is a statement. We are taking a reference for your x and we have changed the reference variable value, which is going to be 20, so which is same as you are changing your x value. So please remember that. So whatever the changes you are making in reference variable, which is going to reflect in x, the original variable as well. So when I print x, now x is going to be 20. Next, what I do is I'm going to increment x. So x is already 20, before it was 10, now it has become 20. I'll increment this. So now this is going to be 21, and look at this. I'm just printing my reference variable, but still my even though I've changed my x value, which is going to reflect my reference variable, which is going to be 21. So I hope you understood this. um, Let us see how we can read the value of a reference variable. So here is another program. We have two variables, one is x, other one is y, and x is going to be 10, and I'm going to take a reference for my x, which is I reference. Next, what I do is I'm going to store this reference value in other variable, which is called y. After this, I'll print what is the y value. Y is now same as my x, which is going to be 10. Look at this. Next, what I do is I'll increment my y. I'll increment my y, so which is y plus plus. So look at the output which is going to create. So x is going to be 10 again, I reference is going to be 10 again, but look at the y has got incremented because y is not my reference variable. To make any changes in other variable, even though you have stored, which is never going to reflect in the reference variable and my original variable. Look at this. If you make any changes in x, which is going to reflect in y, reference variable, I reference. But if you make any changes in I reference, which is going to reflect in x. But here y is not reference variable. So whatever the changes you are making in y, which is not going to reflect in my reference variable or my original variable. So I hope you understood this. Yeah. Next is passing by reference. So if you want, you can pass this reference variable as parameter. So here is an example for this. So this is a normal declaration, something like your pointers. But if it is pointer, we use here star, but here it is ampersand. We have a variable called x. We have another, we have initialized x to 10, increment x. So x is my original variable, and you have a statement called ampersand r. Now what is r? R is my reference variable for the x. Now I increment my r. So what happens? So whatever the changes I'm making in this reference variable, which is going to reflect in my x. So when I print my x value, which is going to be 11. See, look at this. Even though I have not touched my x, which has got incremented because r is my reference variable. So this is all about reference variable. Next is function prototyping. So this you have studied in the first year. So the function prototype tells a compiler the return type of your function as well as the number, type, and sequence of its formal arguments. I repeat. So this is the way we write function prototype, we call it as a function declaration. So which is going to tell you, which is going to tell the compiler many things, not one thing. Which is going to tell the compiler what is the return type your function is going to give, what is the argument list, how many are there in the argument, what is the type, what is the sequence, all the things your function is going to tell the compiler. So look at this statement. We have a function called add. So function is a function prototype. So it says add is the function name. If you call this function, which is going to return integer value, and which is going to take two parameters, two arguments, and both are of type integers. And please remember that after your function prototype, there is a semicolon. Semicolon must follow it. Let us see a small program. Yeah, look at this. So this is our previous function, which is function prototype. I've taken three variables. I'm reading a number. We are reading another number. So we are taking z is equal to add x comma y. So when the function call comes, if compiler see this statement, your compiler will understand that, because already it has come across a statement called add. The system will understand, or your compiler will understand that if I call this function, which is going to return what integer value. So my z is integer. So it will come to this: a and b are integers. A plus b is sum of two integers will be returned, because a plus b is integer, so which is the type of return type also integer. So your system will understand that if I call this function, which is going to return integer values, so output is going to be like this. So why this prototype is important? So this is important because when we write prototype, the return value of function is handled correctly. Your compiler can do it. Second thing is the correct number and type of arguments are passed to the function. That also your compiler can make sure that the correct number of arguments and type is passed to the function. If you look at this statement, your system will understand this function is going to return integer, as I told before. This function returns integer value, and this function takes two integer as parameters. Your system will understand this. So let us see what happens if I don't give a function prototype. Let us see a small example for this. So this is our structure called ABC with three variables. This is a function which is of type structure. A1 dot A is x, B1 dot B is I've taken three variables, return A1. So we'll come to this statement. So always main is the entry point. So what it does is we have variable called x, and I just wrote it as x is equal to test. Now what is text actually? If you look at this test function or method, we call it as function in C++. What is the return type here? Which is of type ABC, and what is ABC? It's of structure. But I just wrote it as test x is equal to test. I'm expecting that my test is going to return integer value, because nowhere it has declared what test is going to return. So what happened is, which is going to give a compile time error, and when you run this program, you may get weird outputs, something like this. So please make sure that when you write the programs, you write the proper prototypes. Otherwise, you'll be getting a weird result like this. And your compiler does not enforce prototyping. Your compiler will never say that without prototype, your program will not work. So this is your job. See that when you write the programs, you write with the function prototype. And another thing is, your function prototype produce automatic type conversion wherever it is appropriate. There is another advantage of this. So please take care of this. Function prototype guarantees protection of errors and type conversions.